Now, while juggling part-time minimum wage jobs in tourism, Laura Douglas started Real Country. It's a unique agri-tourism business based near Queenstown. Fast forward to the recent summer of 2019, and Laura has grown Real Country to the point where she could employ full-time staff members. Tourist bus contractors were coming to watch Real Country farm shows every week, and then COVID-19 level 4 hit. Following Annette Scott's story in this week's Farmers Weekly, is our newsmaker. Joining us now is Laura Douglas. Good evening, Laura.
Hi, Says. It's good to catch up again. It's been a while.
It has. And of course, following your journey for such a long time with Real Country, for our audience that isn't familiar, can you give us some background on how unique the concept was for your agritourism business pre-lockdown in March?
So originally from a farm in Southland, I have good farming roots, but went and did a corporate career for a long time. And in 2016, I just decided it wasn't for me. I needed something that was a little bit more fulfilling. So as you said, quit everything, came down south, and I started taking people to a mai to teach them how to shoot guns and crack whips. So probably not the world's most best brilliant business idea, but it was a start of something pretty cool to come. And as you said, the Contiki buses started coming through in 2017, where I would do a very unique farm show, and it was nicknamed the best farm experience ever. My take on showing people what real farming in Southland is like, including testing an electric fence with a blade of grass. So all of that was going great guns. Loved delighting visitors with my amazing animals, and just giving them a bit of real authentic farming experience. And then COVID hit a couple of months ago, and things have changed since then.
Yeah, absolutely. And you absolutely nailed it on the head. Real and authentic was 100% what Real Country was. Just jumping back before that, the Southern Girl Finishing School, where did that idea come from?
I actually pulled out the mind map that I did in the beginning, and this was before Real Country. My idea for a business was going to be female-only workshops to help them build confidence. And the finishing school name came from, I think most people will know, finishing schools traditionally is where mums would send their daughters to learn how to be proper ladies. It was just that my definition of a proper lady is one that's practical, capable, and confident. So that's what I wanted my finishing schools to be. So this was an original idea, but I didn't actually start doing it until 2019. Honestly, I didn't think there would be the uptake for it. I genuinely didn't believe young girls would want to come along and learn how to change tyres and shoot guns and strain up fences. So once I launched it, it was very tentative. But I've done over 15 workshops with 10 girls each at each workshop now, and I'm just blown away by the transformation one day can achieve with these young girls, and it spurred me on. I absolutely love doing them.
So what type of girls and the backgrounds when they come to the finishing school?
So they come from all over New Zealand. I have young girls flying down from the North Island to do these one-day workshops, and more often than not, their mothers will phone me in advance and ask if they can stay with me and if I can pick them up from the airport, and I have done that several times. They are not just from the country. There are a lot of girls that are growing up on farms, and for whatever reason, maybe it's a dairy farm, maybe they've got older brothers, they're still not getting the chance to have a go at these hands-on activities. But there are also a lot of girls from both town and country that lack confidence, that are very shy, like myself in high school, are being bullied, and they really are just looking for an opportunity to come out. None of the girls know each other. It's a completely foreign environment for everybody. And we put them into teams, and together we go through all of the activities. And I've never had a girl walk away with anything less than a massive ear-to-ear grin on their face. And seeing that, and then hearing the stories from the parents afterwards, when their young girl goes home, and the transformation that I'm able to achieve in a day with these girls is just insanely so rewarding. Yeah.
So, Laura, let's talk about that resilience and transformation that you personally had to overcome and work out a way through lockdown when
Yeah.
you had so many things going for your tourism business and so much on offer, and then to be crushed overnight with lockdown level 4.
It was a really hard time. I'd just come off a big high at the Wanaka show, taking all my fur babies there and getting to interact. It was just an incredible couple of days. And then one day later, getting the first phone call from the head of Contiki cancelling all tours, which is a big chunk of my income. And then in subsequent days, getting all the cancellations for the corporate bookings. I also do a lot of team building, corporate retreats, as well as hens and stag do's. And one by one, over the course of 3 or 4 days, my 6-month earning went from pretty good to zero. And at the same time, I still have to cover all of my business costs, the rent, the animal expenses, everything still has to be paid. And I was devastated, not just for the income loss, but I felt like I had failed. I felt like I'd put everything on the line and sacrificed financial, social life, everything to get this business going, and it was wiped out overnight. And you will remember the phone call we had. I was blubbering and I was in a pretty bad mental state. It didn't last long, but for 4 or 5 days, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I couldn't be pulled up from the pretty crappy space I was in. And the phone conversation we had, in conjunction with speaking with my dad, helped me shift my perspective. And when you are in a really terrible place like that, it's all about, if you can't find your own perspective, and I couldn't, I needed you and Dad to show me a different perspective. It was his saying, long term, in 10 years' time, you're going to look back, this is going to be a blip in your balance sheet. We've had worse farming seasons than what you're going through. And then you talking to me about the windmill analogy and making me realise that I may need to change the direction that I fulfill my passion and my purpose, but my whole foundation is still there. And now the wind has blown me in a slightly different direction, but I'm still living my passion and my purpose. And I'm honestly so grateful for you helping me pull through, and just, I needed that perspective. I was in a pretty crappy space. And then after that, pull your socks up and you get on with it.
You're going to make me blubber shortly. This interview was not meant to be about that. It's actually about how you have pivoted. And I tell you what, from the depth of my heart, I'm so incredibly proud of you, to launch a female-only practical farm training course in Northern Southland. Tell us about the concept.
Isn't it amazing? So Holly Wright worked for me all summer, and her parents are the minor shareholders in Fairlight Station just down the road. When all this happened, I decided that, look, tourism's not going to come back for a while, so why not double down and expand on these farm skill workshops that I do for one day? Why not make them like a 2-week course, 6-week course, get some NCEA credits attached to it? And this was sort of the thinking I went down. And then Simon Wright approached me and said, look, what are you up to? And I said, oh, look, I'm just going to move into some education, not be a tourism provider for a while. And he said, well, we need to chat. And him and the major shareholder, Doug Harpour, had been talking about setting up a farm training institute for nearly a decade, mainly just to fulfill the need. They have struggled in the past to get good workers. And I said, okay, well, let's talk. What are you thinking? We spent 2 days up at the Forest Creek station brainstorming. And what we've come out with is a female-only 12-month intensive farm training practical course based at Fairlight Station, where we're starting small, so just taking 3 women in January initially and hoping to expand on that year on year. And this came out of the need. I did quite a bit of research, and if females are not brought up on farm, how do they develop these practical skills? Who's going to give them a chance? What training on farm practical colleges are out there? And there are some amazing colleges, Smedley, Coleridge Downs, there's a lot, but they're all very male dominated, and they're all focused on school leavers. So as a 17, 18-year-old girl going into an environment on farm remotely with 6 or 7 other 17, 18-year-old guys, it's not always the easiest environment to learn these practical skills. So 12 months with us on Fairlight Station, they're not just going to learn what they need practically to run every type of farm. There's a health and wellness program built in to help them build resilience and deal with their own tough periods, help create their own work-life balance, which I've struggled with in the past. And I want them to be role models in our rural industry.
So any age, if someone's listening that may themselves or know somebody that could be interested in this, how do they get in touch?
So I'm frantically behind the scenes writing the information pack and the website at the moment. So the Fairlight Foundation on Instagram and Facebook is where you need to follow. That's where all the up-to-date information is. And we are looking for women that have got a couple of years life experience under their belt. So over the age of 21, they don't need any qualifications. They don't need any on-farm experience. What I'm looking for is a really good attitude to get involved in the community, work hard as a team, and aspire to be a role model themselves to influence others.
Ah, Laura, you're an inspiration. So we are talking about donating to a charity, and I know that you've stated a foundation. Put that over to the side. If there's one other charity that you would choose to donate your lotto winnings to, what is the sort of thing that ticks your boat?
Anything that is helping young people get into exploring different career paths. I would love, and I'm so passionate, I just, thanks to COVID, had a secondary school speaking series cancelled. I was going around all the Southland schools. I think young people need more exposure to the career paths that are out there, like into farming. Particularly if you're not born on a farm, you don't understand how many opportunities there are. And I'm not sure if there's a foundation out there that does that, but if there wasn't, I'd use my winnings to bloody create one.
Thank you so much, Laura Douglas, with the new Fairlight Foundation, of course, the founder of Real Country and the Southern Girls Finishing School based down near Kingston, near Queenstown. What an inspiring story.
This is Sarah's Country.